Before we begin, if you're learning about warehouse management or working in logistics, make sure to subscribe and like this video. You'll find more short sessions like this one, all designed to help you understand key concepts clearly and practically. Alright, let's begin. Today's revision will explore how warehousing supports the flow of materials in the supply chain, how performance is measured, and how layout and technology shape warehouse efficiency. Think of this as a structured conversation rather than a lecture. Let's start with the role of warehousing in material flow. In any supply chain, warehouses act like shock absorbers. They cushion the difference between supply and demand. When supply slows or demand spikes, the warehouse keeps goods moving. This is what we call a buffer or decoupling point. It's not just storage, it's a bridge that maintains stability. Warehouses also serve a consolidation and distribution role. They gather goods from multiple suppliers and send them out to different destinations. This saves time, lowers transport cost, and supports smoother downstream operations. Now, let's look at ownership types. Some companies use private warehouses, which they own and control. This gives them full authority over layout, procedures, and materials planning, ideal when operations are steady and predictable. Others use contract or public warehouses, which are managed by third parties. These offer flexibility and scalability, especially for seasonal businesses that don't need full-time storage. Every system has risks. When warehousing isn't aligned with materials planning, problems multiply. You might see stockouts when supply can't meet demand, or overstocking when too much capital is tied up in unsold goods. Sometimes, misalignment leads to excess handling, too many movements, rework, and unnecessary cost. Accurate records prevent those issues. Good warehouse records feed directly into Material Requirements Planning, or MRP. They provide real-time inventory levels so MRP can schedule replenishments correctly. Records also show usage history, how much of each item moves over time, which supports forecasting. And don't forget about coordination between departments. When warehousing and purchasing teams communicate well, things run smoothly. Warehouses can signal when stock is low so purchasing acts in time. Or, they can consolidate orders to benefit from bulk buying, which reduces cost per unit. Warehousing isn't just about stacking boxes, it's about managing flow, timing, and communication. Let's move now to benchmarking, one of the most practical tools in warehouse management. Benchmarking means comparing your warehouse performance against a standard, whether it's an internal goal or an industry best practice. It helps managers see where they stand, where they're improving, and where they're falling behind. So, what should be measured? There are a few key indicators that tell a complete story. The first is order picking accuracy. This simply checks how many items were picked correctly. A small error rate might seem harmless, but in logistics, one wrong product can multiply costs, rework, returns, and customer dissatisfaction. Accuracy keeps trust intact. Next, we have inventory accuracy. This benchmark shows how closely the recorded stock matches what's physically on the shelves. When accuracy drops, it affects every part of planning, orders, forecasts, and even production schedules. It's one of the most basic yet powerful measures of warehouse discipline. The third benchmark is throughput, sometimes expressed as orders per hour. It shows how efficiently the warehouse handles volume within a given time. When throughput rises without extra strain or cost, you know the system is improving. Then there's space utilization. This tells us how much of the available storage space is actually used. Good utilization means balance, not too crowded, not too empty. Crowded warehouses slow movement, while underused ones waste rent and lighting costs. And finally, dock-to-stock cycle time. This is the time it takes for goods to move from the receiving dock into usable storage. It's a key reflection of efficiency in layout and process design. Shorter cycle times mean faster visibility and quicker order readiness. Together, these 5 benchmarks give managers a clear picture of warehouse productivity and service levels. They act like a dashboard, showing speed, accuracy, and space efficiency at a glance. But, of course, benchmarking isn't always simple. Managers face real challenges when trying to apply it. The first challenge is data comparability. Not every warehouse is built the same. A cold storage facility can't be compared fairly with an e-commerce warehouse, their functions differ. So, benchmarks must be contextual. Then there's resistance to change. Some staff may see measurement as criticism rather than improvement. Building a culture of openness and teamwork is vital here. The cost of measurement is another challenge. Collecting and analyzing data takes time and money. If the process isn't well designed, the benchmarking itself becomes inefficient. Next is confidentiality. Companies may hesitate to share data with benchmarking partners or industry surveys. Without shared data, it's hard to see where you truly stand. And finally, there's the dynamic environment. Warehouses evolve quickly. Technology changes, customer expectations shift, and new systems come in. Benchmarks that worked 2 years ago might already be outdated. So, benchmarking is both an art and a science. It requires balance, numbers for insight, and judgment for context. When you think about it, benchmarking is less about competition and more about learning. It's about knowing your own operations deeply, setting achievable goals, and refining them continuously. Now, let's move on to the case of MegaMart Distribution Hub. It's a good example of how warehouse layout and design directly affect performance. Even with advanced systems, poor layout can quietly destroy efficiency. At MegaMart, a few operational problems stand out. The first is delays caused by lift and interfloor bottlenecks. When goods have to move between levels, and lifts are slow or overused, movement gets stuck. Each delay adds up. A few minutes per trip can become hours lost in a day. That, in turn, increases lead time and frustrates both workers and customers. Another issue is congested aisles and poor zoning. When products aren't grouped logically, workers spend more time searching than picking. It creates unnecessary walking, detours, and even safety risks. Aisle congestion slows down forklifts and causes queuing during busy hours. There's also the problem of disconnected packaging areas. If packaging is located upstairs while most goods move on the ground floor, coordination breaks down. Goods keep traveling back and forth, and that movement doesn't add value, it's just extra handling and wasted energy. And finally, a lack of flexible staging space. During peak demand, if the warehouse doesn't have enough temporary space for inbound or outbound surges, it quickly becomes chaotic. Overflow blocks aisles, slows picking, and causes errors. All these issues show one truth: layout is strategy. The way a warehouse is designed decides how time, people, and materials flow. Now, let's compare the two improvement options proposed in the case option A and option B. Option A focuses on expanding the ground floor and adding a fresh zone. It's a lower-tech, space-based solution. The advantage is simplicity, no major system overhaul, just more room and better product segregation. But it also demands high capital and real estate, and once built, it's not easily scalable. Option B, on the other hand, introduces automation, ASRS, and integrated material flows. This approach is technology-driven and scalable. It improves speed, accuracy, and consistency, but it comes with high investment and a steeper learning curve. Staff need retraining, and maintenance becomes critical. So which option makes more sense for long-term competitiveness? Most of the time, option B, the mechanized, integrated model, wins. It's more future-oriented, flexible, and efficient. However, the choice depends on budget, readiness, and business strategy. A warehouse that invests in automation without training or planning risks creating new problems instead of solving old ones. The key takeaway from MegaMart's case is this: layout and technology decisions must align with business goals. A beautiful warehouse that doesn't fit its purpose is just expensive storage. As we wrap up this session, remember how the three sections we discussed fit together. In Section A, we saw how warehousing supports material flow as a buffer, a consolidator, and a bridge between departments. In Section B, we explored benchmarking, the language of measurement and improvement. And in Section C, we saw those lessons come to life in a real-world layout problem. Warehousing is both technical and human. It's about systems, but also about people, their coordination, judgment, and rhythm. So as you reflect on these concepts, focus on understanding, not memorizing. See the logic, the cause and effect. That's the kind of insight that stays with you long after any exam. Thank you for joining this revision session. Keep studying steadily, take short breaks, and stay confident. You already understand more than you think, now it's just about connecting the pieces. Good luck, everyone.